You're listening to Storage Nerds Podcast, where we unravel the best-kept secret of the real estate investing world, the storage industry. Join the grassroots guru in self-storage, Stacy Rossetti, in insightful discussions about finding, funding, and running these spaces, allowing you to yield the highest returns possible. Get your foot in the door on self-storage and discover how to properly purchase facilities, negotiate with sellers, and close the deal without worries. Start unpacking that investment wisdom with Stacy right now.
What we're going to do today is I'm going to go over the Greenville, Florida facility. This is a small facility. It's actually a very good facility. The reason I'm not buying this facility is because it's too small for me. Okay. So like I'm moving on up to the bigger deals is what I'm doing, but there's nothing wrong with doing smaller deals. The first 10 facilities that we bought are all exactly like the one that I'm showing you. I'm here to help you get your foot in the door. All right. That is what I'm here to do. I don't teach how to buy really big deals. Okay. You can go and listen. If you want to buy a $2 million, $5 million, $10 million deal, there's other people out there that are doing those deals that'll teach you. I'm here to help you get your foot in the door. And I've been doing this for years and years and years. And the truth is there's nothing wrong with buying a small storage facility. My very first storage facility that I bought is exactly like this one that I'm about to show you. And now we're on number 16. We just bought 2 facilities in the last month that were both $2.5 million each. And so even I'm still not buying really big storage facilities. I just buy mom and pop storage facilities in tertiary markets and in secondary markets. A tertiary market just means the country. So the facility I'm going to show you today, it's in the country. And then secondary markets, are going to be like, smaller towns in your states and stuff. Okay. Secondary market does not mean suburbs, right, of major metropolitans. Those are called primary markets. Okay. And so, I'm going to pitch this deal out. I'm going to show it to y'all. Okay. So another thing I wanted to go over today is a lot of people ask me, like, how do we find so many deals? Okay. And, in the beginning, what I did, I'm going to tell you, in the beginning, what I did was I drove for storage. That's what I did, driving for storage. And this is what I teach my students. If you can get out and drive around, driving for storage equals market research. Okay. So basically driving for storage gives you an awareness of the storage market in the area that you're interested in buying in. Okay, it really kind of gives you an idea of what type of facilities are out there. I have driven all over the country in almost all 50 states. I've driven for storage because I used to live in an RV and travel full time. And so we would just be like, all right, we're going to go to the Grand Canyon. Let's drive for storage. And what we would do too is we go on a lot of like the scenic byways. We always went we went on to the really nice routes and stuff. And but along the way, we would find storage facilities. And so that's really how I got started. Now, all the ones that I find that I don't want to buy, like that aren't in my buy box, or they're like maybe not in the states that I want to buy or something like this, then I would just wholesale those out. Okay, that's what I do is I just wholesale. And so that is what I talked about last week with the Watertown, New York facility that I pitched, and also the Greenville one. Now, inside of Storage Nerds. So Storage Nerds is my coaching program. Inside of Storage Nerds, I have a program. It's called Turnkey Acquisitions. And Turnkey Acquisitions is where we find facilities for students. Like my virtual assistants will just find facilities for students. So for instance, like this morning, we met with an owner. His name is Brian. He's in Oklahoma. And I have a student, Matt, who actually lives in LA. He works in the film industry, but he owns rental properties in Oklahoma, and he wants to buy his very first facility in Oklahoma. So he hired my virtual assistants to find a deal for him. He's too busy. He has to do all his film industry stuff, right? So he hired my virtual assistants to find him a deal. And so we've been looking for a deal for him. We've had a lot of deals that we've almost got under contract or almost purchased, and something always falls through or whatever. And but this time we have a very, very good deal in Oklahoma. And we met the owner on Zoom. And this is the second time we've met the owner. The very first time we met the owner, I like to meet all my owners on Zoom. I try to get them on Zoom. A lot of people are like, I've never been on Zoom before. But like, especially if you're working across the country and stuff, it's the best way to meet the owners. It's the best way to talk to them so they can see who you are, you're just a regular person. And I do this with my investors. I do this with owners. I do it with everybody. And I do a lot of business on Zoom, honestly, a lot. And so we met the owner this morning. So actually, we have a virtual assistant. Her name is Chini, and she does a very, very good job of just calling owners and talking to owners. And so, and so this is the same process that you're going to go through. All right. So I just don't do this anymore. Like I have all my virtual assistants doing it. But essentially, Chini gets up every day. She builds her list. She puts 20 to 30, owners on her list, and then she calls those owners and talks to them. If she can't get a hold of the owner, then she skip traces. All right, that's what she does. And she's been doing this for a while. She does a very, very good job. She's very methodical at it. I mean, it's kind of like, it's a lot of work to sit there and build a list and then call the owners and talk to them. I just had a coaching call with another student, Wade, and he started calling. He's doing it himself, right? Just like everybody else here, he's doing it himself. And he was like, I was so nervous about calling the owners. He's like, yesterday, he's like, I built my list. I have a very extensive list. He's in Texas. And he's like, I have a very extensive list that I've been doing over the past couple of weeks, like several hundred facilities. And he said, yesterday he was going to start calling, and then he talked himself out of calling. He's like, I just freaked out. He's like, I decided not to do it. I didn't call. I was too scared. He's like, but then I knew I was going to have a coaching call with you, and you told me that I had to call owners before we met. Right. So he said, I got up this morning and I started calling owners. He said, and guess what? And I said, what? He said, the very first owner that I talked to, he wants an offer. And I was like, told you, all you got to do is just call. Right. And so that's what we did on the coaching calls. We just worked through putting the offer in for the deal. But this is what Chini does. So my virtual assistants actually do this now for me. I don't do this. And, if I could teach somebody in the Philippines to, call and talk to owners, you guys could do this too. You know what I'm saying? They're not even in the same country. And so she talked to owners, and she found this very, very good deal in Oklahoma. And so we met the owners on Zoom. All right. And I met the owner on Zoom, and then his son, it's him and his son, and they're managing this thing together. And then he wants to sell the facility for $875,000. And when we run the numbers, like $825,000 is where we want to be. So what would you guys do in this situation? Right? For me personally, I would actually pay $875,000. But, my student, he wants $825,000. That's it. The banks are going to be doing $825,000, and there's a lot of things that you can do. You could do a lot. You could do creative. I talked about creative deal structuring. I was like, look, it's $50,000. Come on, let's figure something out. Either lower the price, or, let's do a note, or, put more money down, but both of them, both the owner and the student are like, and the owner's like, I don't want to come down $50,000. And then the student is like, I don't want to come out of pocket any more money than I have to, whether it's for the down payment or, to make the DSR, because really banks want that DSR to be at like 1.2 to 1.3, right? And all these local banks that he's talking to are saying 1.25. Well, that means you have to lower the price, or you have to come up with some sort of creative deal structure. And then the owner is just like, I don't really want to do that, and so it's just like, it's this whole thing. Negotiating a storage facility or any property at all is really, it's like an art. It's really like an art, but you got to give and you got to take. I would pass up a lot of deals. I would have passed up a lot of deals for $50,000, but I didn't pass any of them up. I $50,000. It's like, okay. Some people really get in their heads about this kind of stuff. So it's just interesting, but I love meeting owners. The owner comes onto Zoom, he talks to us, we're trying to negotiate it out, we're trying to hash it out. All you got to do is just get the owner on Zoom, talk to them, and, they're willing to work with you. They're just regular people like us. Okay. And so, just giving you the process and kind of internally how it's working for us. So you guys have an idea. And, I started out driving for storage, building my list. and then going meeting the owners. I remember I started like looking for storage facilities in 2015, 2016, where like being on Zoom and like having, doing things on Zoom was like really non-existent. Like GoToMeeting was like kind of it's like just starting and stuff. And, then when COVID hit, like, everybody started just going online. And, ever since COVID, I've taken advantage of like getting people on Zoom. And I mean, as soon as COVID hit, I moved over to Zoom. I was one of those like, millions of people that were like waiting on hold, trying to figure out how like Zoom worked. But then, I figured it out and I started taking advantage of just like meeting owners online and talking to owners online. And I'm going to tell you, I've done millions and millions of dollars on Zoom for the business. So hopefully you guys take this to heart. You got to talk to owners, get out there, build your list, drive for storage if you can, get some market research done, really know what your market looks like, the markets that you're interested in. And then, get out there and just call the owners. And like, just like my student this morning, the first one he called wanted an offer. And he was like, I can't believe it's like, then I started freezing up. He's like, I didn't know what to do. And I told him I would just like, text him everything I needed. And I was like, you're fine. I was like, so you've been texting back and forth? He's like, yeah, we just been texting back and forth. And he was like, I just got so nervous. And I was just like, no, he doesn't even know who you are. You're just some bloke on the phone that wants to give an offer on your storage facility. He doesn't even know who you are, So anyway, so that was it. So that's the same process that like Chani is doing with my student in Oklahoma. And this process with Greenville, Florida is the exact same process. Like all we do is build the list and call the owners. Build the list and call the owners. Okay. And I really, I go really deep in that into my course too. If you're interested, don't forget, I got the course where it'll just walk you through that whole process as well. So you can check that out. That's the super simple self-storage course. Like if you want to know what to ask the owners and this kind of stuff, I'll get into that as well too. Because that was one of the things that like the student this morning, he was like, I didn't know what to ask. And I was like, well, did you have the seller call sheet? The seller call sheet literally lists out everything that you're supposed to ask for and gives you scripts. And he was like, oh, no, I didn't have that. I was like, you got to have that out when you're calling the owners. The seller call sheet is inside of the course. So you'll be able to have access to that. So you'll know everything that you need to ask the owners when you talk to them too. Okay. All right. So I'm going to get into the, and I see a whole bunch of people are putting comments in, so I appreciate that. And I'll answer any questions. We could do that towards the end, but I want to show you the Greenville, Florida deal that we have under contract. And now we've offered it to several students, and one of them's gone out and taken a look at it. He's interested. And the other one is going to go out this weekend and take a look at it. And he's interested as well too. And all they're doing is working through getting the financing. I've introduced one of my students, the one that needs the financing. I've introduced him to a couple of lenders that will lend on the deal. And then also the other person that's interested, the other student that's interested, he has like private lenders is what he has. So he has the funding, he just has to get out there and take a look at it real fast. We may be able to sell it to a student, but I figured I would just use it as an example for you guys to have an example of what we find, what types of deals are out there. We find deals that are, like last week's 1.5, 1.6, $1.7 million. So we also find deals that are like $200,000 deals. Okay. And so that's that. So let me see. Let me share my screen, and I'm going to get into the Greenville folder real fast. Now, remember, we use Google Drive to kind of manage everything. Okay. And I went over this last week, and I'm going to go over this again. So inside Google Drive, we use Google Drive, and you don't have to use Google Drive if you don't want to, but you just have, basically the way that we do it is we have a folder, and inside of that folder is where we put everything that we need internally to know in order to know whether or not it's a good deal. This is the exact same stuff that you're going to need in order to determine whether it's a good deal, and it's the exact same stuff that like a lender's going to need. Right? So you can, like, the whole purpose of the folder is to put everything inside of it and then share it with whoever you need to share it with, so that they have all the pertinent information to decide if they want to move forward. Okay. And then the way that we work too, just so everybody knows, is like, I would say most of the time, let me just unstop share. Most of the time, I would say probably it's probably more mismanaged facilities that we buy than income producing properties. Okay. So a mismanaged facility is a facility where the owner will not produce documents. Okay. Like they will not produce P&Ls and balance sheets. They don't have anything. So in terms of like this one that I'm going to show you, this would be I would consider this a mismanaged facility. Now this facility is full. It's, but the owner that has it, the owner died. The person that owned this died, and so the wife is now doing it and managing it, and she does not want to do it at all. And so that's kind of how this one came about. So she just wants to get this thing off her hands. Is what her husband was like doing the whole thing, managing it, taking care of it, and then once he died, like she just has not been doing a very good deal about it. So she has no documents, nothing to show. Like a lot of times she'll just take like, cash or checks and that's it, so she doesn't even have QuickBooks or anything. Okay. And, so when we're calling owners, like a lot of times in tertiary markets, especially in like country and stuff, like you'll come across this. This is completely normal. When you get in like bigger deals and stuff, you'll find a lot more of the owners have more of the documents. But as you saw last week, if you were on the video last week for the Watertown facility that I did, he didn't have P&L. It's we're like a $1.7 million facility. It's like 230 doors. He has no P&L or anything. Like he's like, no, I don't do QuickBooks. He's like, I just pay everything myself or whatever. He's like, I can write you down all my expenses. I can tell you everything, but I don't have anything to give. Right now, he does have a tax return. He's like, I can give you my tax return because that shows you in my bank account. Essentially, it's just going through my bank account and stuff. But he's like, I don't have any P&L or anything like that. And so even in the bigger deals, you'll always get stuff like this as well too. But you have to know you're watching me, and so now you know that you do not want to be that person. Like when you're going to sell your facility, you want to have a P&L and a balance sheet, and you really want your occupancy to be as high as it possibly can in order to get the greatest amount of return on your facility. All right, but I would say 80% of all the storage facilities do not have this. Okay, all right. Let's just do Greenville, Florida. It's in the Panhandle. Okay. So here it is. Okay, here's Greenville. It's a little tiny town in the Panhandle of Georgia, right off the 10, and it's right in between here. This is us, right? I live in Tallahassee, so it's right in between Tallahassee and Jacksonville. It's more closer towards to Tallahassee. It's like 45 minutes away from Tallahassee and about maybe 2 hours, a little bit less than 2 hours from Jacksonville. Okay. Now if somebody has $200,000 that they want to lend, we would buy this, or maybe just like, you could work with one of our students. Or you could buy it yourself, but like this is just a little bit too, like it's just a little bit too small for it. It's only 50 I think it's like 50 units. We'll look at it here in just a minute, but it's just too small for us. Like we're like 200 plus now. We want to be in the $2 million to $3 million range is kind of where we're at, on our facility. So we're trying to get away from the smaller facilities and just focus on bigger ones for us. Okay. So that's why we're not buying it, and I just sold another facility over here over here in Chipley as well too, that we really looked at, but it just, it's just a little bit too small for us. Pete's just like he doesn't want the smaller ones anymore. He wants to have some bigger ones. And so we're actually in the process of selling all of our smaller ones as well too. Like that is our goal. All of the small ones that are less than 100 doors, we will be selling over the course of the next year or so. All right. And then we're going to just be focusing on buying some bigger ones. Like a couple of people have asked, like, why aren't you buying this one? And it's really just because it's just too small. Okay. All right. So that's where it's located right here. Okay. Now, let me see here. Okay, let's get back into this. Okay, yeah. So let's get into the executive summary. Okay, so for everybody that's new that hasn't, followed me yet, I just want to make sure I'm sharing the right screen. All right, yeah, okay, good. So, you guys we always put together an executive summary in all of our deals. The executive summary is it's like a PowerPoint presentation of the project, okay, of the deal. All right. And so this is what it is. So you always want to put this together if you're going to be working with like a lender, or if you're going to be working like wholesaling deals and stuff, you want to put something like this together. We are actually like turnkey acquisitions inside of Storage Nerds is really a wholesaling company. That's what it is. Like, we are wholesaling our facilities that we find to our students inside Storage Nerds. And so that's why we put this executive summary together. Okay. All right. So you can see here's the facility. It's 50 units. Okay, 50 units. It's got a lot of land on here, so you could definitely add on, and your play would be to add on as well too. Okay, you need to add on. And she says they're always full, but she hasn't raised the rents in a long time. I mean, since the husband passed away, she hasn't raised the rents or anything. So she's just like, if they pay, they pay, and if they don't pay, they don't pay. But it is full. And so here it is. Let's see, this is what it looks like. Okay, so now this is what the facility looks like. Okay, so it's got the two buildings here. It's got a big tree like right in the front, and then it has the car wash. All right, this car wash is like has not been used in like X amount of years, 10 years. It's broken. Like, you don't want to do anything with this except for like demolish this and put more units up. Okay, and I'll show you what it looks like over. But you would demolish this and then add more units, because I mean, she says they're always full. Oh, and another thing that's really good about this property is that there is no other storage facility within like 15 miles of this facility. So she's catering to like everybody in the area that needs storage. And that's why she says it's always full. She's like, it's just that, it's just a small facility. And she hasn't raised rates. So that's what it looks like. I've been to this facility several times, so I know exactly what this looks like. It's actually a huge, big piece of property. It's on this major highway. So this highway, like this Route 90, it goes parallel to I-10 is what it does. So it's not right off of I-10, but it goes parallel. It's a very, very busy road right here. So if you had a nice big sign here and you added some more units here, I mean, this could be a very good deal. Okay. All right. So this is what it looks like. I already showed you the maps. And okay, here's the population. Obviously, it's a little tiny town in the middle of like the panhandle of Georgia. But the thing is that I think anywhere in the panhandle is going to be a very, very good buy and hold, right? Anywhere in the panhandle, because honestly, the truth is, I'm going to tell y'all, the panhandle of Florida is like the best kept secret for real estate in the United States, my personal opinion. All right. I mean, anywhere in Florida, Florida is like the fastest growing state anyways in the country outside of Texas. But there's so much going on. There's so much going on in this area. It's just booming, honestly. And it was like, I don't know why people think the panhandle of Texas is like, the panhandle of Florida is country. I mean, there's a lot of space and stuff, but I feel like it's a very good area for growth. All right. We actually own 2 storage facilities in like the Live Oak Lake City area, which eventually we will be selling. I would say probably within the next year or so, we'll sell those as well too, because they are smaller. So whoever buys these could also just buy the other ones that we have as well too, have a little portfolio right here later. Okay. All right. So, and let me see. So, yeah. So it is like, I get it. It's a small town, but the truth is like within like a 15-mile radius, you'll be able to, always have people coming to this thing. And okay, so it's actually 2 lots. So you only have the one here. This is from Regrid. Remember, we go to Regrid. Regrid is where you can get property information for free. Okay, so this is where all of our virtual assistants go to find the information. So Regrid, you definitely want to have that on your calendar, not your calendar. You want to have it on your list of places to go look for property. Okay, and it gives you parcel data and stuff like this. Now it always asks you to upgrade and stuff, but you don't need to upgrade. Okay. And then you could just click on Regrid, and then you could come in and you could go to the map, And then you can just, you could just put your address in right here, right? I don't use ReGrid very often, so do not ask me how it works. This is what all my virtual assistants use, but you put your address in here and then it's going to it's basically going to pull up what I just showed you on this map right here. So this is what it looks like. All the parcel information and who owns it and this kind of stuff, which is public data, right? This is all just public data, okay? All right, so now you could see, I wanted to just show you that this piece of land is actually quite big, honestly. It's 2 whole lots. The car wash is here, and you have plenty of room to add more units, plenty of space. And what I would do is just do it in phases. Like I would add another building maybe right here. And this is probably going to cost you, I would say 25 to 30 grand to add a building right here. Because I know that because we're in the process of adding a building on one of our other units right now. And I got it quoted out. It's like 2,000 square feet for like $25,000. Okay. And so, and then you could fill that one up. And then even right here, you could take this tree out and you could add another building easily here. Okay. It's quite a bit of land. Okay. And, I would just do that in phases. Hang on. Oh, it doesn't show the property for the other lot here. But this lot right here is also included. It's not as big as this one, but it's almost as big. So you could add maybe 2 long buildings going this way, or you could just add some shorter ones going this way. And I would just do this in phases. So I do like fill one building up and then, okay, I need another one and then fill that one up. Because the thing is that there is no storage facility in this area. Like there's nothing. So you really have the opportunity to add more units. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to get into the deal analyzer and stuff here in just a sec. Hang on. Okay. So that's that. Let's see if we have, if you want to pull it up on Crexy, let's see, what does the Crexy stuff look for? So Crexy is, Crexy, if people don't know what Crexy is, well, you probably know what Crexy is, right? Because, everybody goes and looks for storage facilities there. We do not use Crexy for storage facilities. Okay, you can actually get a membership, or what is it called? I guess it's a membership to Crexy and get all of the back office information on Crexy. Okay, and so I could show you what it looks like here. Let me just do, what's the address to this facility? It is, if I were an address, where would I be? Let's see if it's on here. Okay, yeah, here it is. 14012 US 90. Let's try and see if that comes up on Crexy. So I can show y'all what it looks like. Yeah, okay. And like when it has like a US 90 and stuff or whatever, like, has weird addresses, then it's kind of harder to find sometimes. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. Okay. This thing is in my way. This is the address right here. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so you could see here's the 2 lots, right? You could see $45,000. View property record. This is the car wash one. Okay, yeah, so you can see here, this is the lot, and then this is the one right next to it. Okay, and then you could pull out, and then here's the address. Here's all the, the parcel. This is almost the same exact stuff that you get from ReGrid for free, but Crexy does cost like $150 a month, just so everybody knows. But the one thing that I love about Crexy is like it gives you even more data than it gives you the owner's information, right? So you can see who the owner's information. But what it gives you, which is really cool, here's the mailing address, here's the contact information. Okay, so you can see here it gives you the phone numbers, and look, it even gives you the email address. and it gives you like tax information. It gives you everything. Okay. And then look, here's all your flood. Is it in the flood zone? It shows you that. All right, so you can know whether or not it's in a flood zone and a whole bunch of stuff. Actually, it gives you school data, it gives you everything. All right, so that's what it looks like. So I wanted to show y'all. Hang on a second. And then let me see if I can get back out of here. And then you could see the other lot right here too. Luther Pickles is his name. He's deceased now. So, but I mean, you can see the same thing. This is the lot here. And all the information, same thing, location, lot details, building information. See, here's the owner's information, but then here's the contact information again. So you'll be able to click that. Sometimes it gives you email addresses, sometimes it doesn't. It gives you a lot of phone numbers. It gives you like, everything that you need, and then you could just, so it's basically, it's a skip tracing tool. It's an easy way to do skip tracing for owner information. It's not the cheapest, but the one thing I love about Crexi too, just so everybody knows, is that you can see here, I could get any parcel information by just clicking on this here. Every property in the country is in Crexi. And so like I could just get whatever, any properties information. If I wanted to know like, oh gosh, who owns this big piece of property right here, or something like that, I could just click on all these and just get all the information, like any property. Okay. You just click on it. Okay. And then also another thing that I love about Crexi too is that you can get comps. Right, for the properties, you can get comps, right? So if we went, back to, we went back to the one that I was trying to buy, which I can't remember where it's at anymore. We were able to get like storage comps for it. All right, it will pull up like if you click whatever property that you're clicking on, it's going to give you the comps for that area as well too, and a whole bunch of other stuff. All right, so that's why we always use Crexi to find out. Like these are all comps of just whatever property I picked on. It's commercial comps and residential comps because you have access to every property in the country. And plus, there's like a million other things that you could do with Crexi too. But those are the main things that we use. Okay, so just pointing that out. But then what our VA does is they go to Crexi and they pull out all the information and then they put it into the folder. Okay, a lot of the times that's what they'll do is they'll put it into the folder, okay, so that we have access to it. Okay, so let me see. I opened up the deal analyzer. Good. Okay, now this is our deal analyzer. Just so everybody knows, you can go to the website, you can buy this deal analyzer, and then when you buy it, you also get training videos on like how to use it as well too. The deal analyzer does not work in Google Sheets because our deal analyzer only works in Excel. All right, that's it. And like Google Sheets is not as up to date and it's not the newest technology versus Excel. So Excel has a whole bunch of different formulas on there. So for instance, like IRR formulas and a whole bunch of other formulas that Google Sheets does not have. So just, if you see like an error message, like right here, I'll show you a couple of things. It's because the sheet does not convert over to the Google Sheets. You have to use it in Excel. All right. But at least you can kind of get the gist of it. All right. Just so you guys know, these are the numbers. All right. So let me see here. This is how we ran our numbers. We ran our numbers here. So you can see it's making $25,000. It has 50 units and it's 4,900 square feet and it's full. Okay. Everything in yellow is essentially what you need in order to run deal analysis. Okay, so we just like in our deal analyzer, my virtual assistants just know whatever's in yellow. Also, another thing too is that like you could see here, these are the expenses that we have to run the facility. We have property maintenance. which is really the boots on the ground person, or you doing it, and any repairs needed. Right. So for instance, like on this facility, you probably have somebody going out. If you weren't going to do it yourself, which I'm sure most people don't live in the area, then you would, would have somebody go out once a week and pick up all the trash that's left by the tenants and do any overlocks that are needed, or maybe unlocking anybody that's overlocked. Okay, so that obviously costs money. So we have a formula for that. You can see the formula is 0.015 times C6. Right, so you can see our formulas and how we run our numbers on our Dell Analyzer. And then staffing is the phone person, whoever's answering the phones. And and so our formula is 400 times 12. So it's $100 a week to answer the phones for us. And then it's 50 times 52. $50 a week is for the whatchamacallit, the overnight people that answer the phones. So we have from 8 o'clock at night until 8 o'clock in the morning or something. So we have an overnight company, just in case somebody calls, then they'll answer the phone for us. Okay. And that's $50. So so that's how much it's costing us to manage our phones. And also staffing could include if you're going to have your office person that's answering the phones, also do the auctions, if you do auction processes and stuff like that. Okay. Whatever you need it. That's office. Okay. Software and merchant fees. All right. Software and merchant fees is if you're going to use StoreEdge or ESS or SiteLink or Breeze or whichever one you're going to use. And then, of course, when you have all of the automatic payments coming through, that, percentage, which is usually 2.2 to 2.9%, depending on, which company you use. Okay. So there's there. And then marketing is when you're going to be using Sparefoot or Google Ads to fill the place up. And honestly, I really feel probably in this area, you would start out not doing anything and then just seeing if, you get tenants or not. You could put a big sign up that says now leasing with your new building or whatever and stuff, and see if that works. If it doesn't work, then you would probably put it on Sparefoot. Because Sparefoot, you would start out with Sparefoot. Sparefoot is just it's a company that's kind of expensive, honestly, but it's a very good company to help you lease up. Is what it is. And then once you start getting leased up, you can move over to Google Ads, is what you could do. Okay. Google Ads is going to be way cheaper than Sparefoot. Okay. All right. So there's expenses. And then you can also see over here in this little box right here, we have expenses here as well too. So we have $1,000 clean out. We have CapEx, which is nothing, new build cost or whatever. And then we have $1,500 to close the facility, right? To close the deal. So it's not going to really cost that much money to close it. And this is actually this is actually at 1% is what it is. This is us not using a realtor. If you had a realtor involved or a broker, then you would have to put your 3 or 6% or 10% or whatever it costs to close the deal. We're just going straight to the owner, straight to the title company. I've already paid the earnest money, everything. They're already running title, so let me see. The property taxes are about $1,000, utilities, 1,000, and then insurance is 1,000. Okay, so that's how much it's costing for this facility. When you get the deal analyzer, if you do decide to get the deal analyzer, these are actually formulas. All right, all these are formulas, but anything in yellow you can override. So you say, oh, I could do this for cheaper or whatever. I'm not going to be as much as Stacy is. Then you could just go in and you could just change the numbers. Okay, and let's see, yeah. Okay, good. Now let's see. Okay, so now you could see that the value of this property is coming out to $150,000. All right, 150 grand. Actually, we picked it up for 200, I think. So we'll have to update this. But it's 200,000 is what it is. Let me see if I can find the most recent. I think we ran the numbers and started out with 150, but I think she said she wanted 200. So let me see this. Greenville. Hang on, I'm going to try to find the update, the most up-to-date deal analyzer. But if I can't find it, it's not a big deal. We could run the numbers on it. I wonder. I know what it is. Yeah. Okay. All right. Can't find it. But okay, so what we'll do, we'll just put 200. Oh no, I can't update it. Okay, well, anyways, I'll update it when I share it. But essentially, we got it under contract for 200 grand. But you can see in the deal analyzer that the way that we run our numbers is we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different offers. Okay, and you can see here that there's a cash offer. And then we do 3 owner financing offers. And then we also do like a bank offer, like a bank financing or a private like loan is how we run our numbers. On this deal right here, you can see we ran it at 15% down and 9% interest. When you look at this loan, right, when you look at these numbers, these terms, you know that this is an SBA loan that we ran our numbers on. Okay, so the goal is, do the numbers work with an SBA loan, right? Or are you going to be doing a conventional loan? A conventional loan is like 25% down right now, 6.5% interest. So we always run our numbers based on both outputs. And then we could see what works with this. So you could see here, if we pick this up for 150 grand at 15% down and 9% interest, that our cash on cash return would be 33%. Okay. Now, if you look at this number right here, this is the price per square foot that it should be based off of the competitive analysis. All right, so it's at, right now she's at 46 cents a square foot. All right, but based on competitive analysis, which is really looking, I'll show you what we did, but it's really looking at other storage facilities in the area and what they're charging. Now remember that there is no competition within 15 miles, I think. Yeah, see, like 12, the closest one is 12 miles away. It's called mini storage. There's a Madison mini storage that's 12 miles away, and then there's a Royal mini storage, which actually I think these are all in Monticello. Yeah, these are like Monticello, Madison. Okay, yeah. So so we're having to go 15 miles away to see what everybody's charging, which really is actually very good, because that means that you should be charging what your competitors are charging, because there's no other storage facility in the area. All right. And so we looked at those 3, and you could see these are the prices. All right. These are the prices right here for, I don't know what sizes they are. Actually, we can look at the unit mix. The unit mix is, 5x10s. She has 5x10s and 10x15s is what she has. These are the reason there's errors here is because I'm opening this up in Google Sheets, remember, and not in Excel. That's why there's errors. If you open this up in Excel, you'll be able to see it. But so 5x10s and 10x15s are what we looked at. She's got 26 of these and 24 of these. She's charging $40 and $70. All right. And the competition is charging $46.67 and $83.33. Right. Which basically just comes from the average price per square foot of what the competition is charging. Okay. That's how we get it. And so we're coming out to the 66 cents a square foot. If we look at the closest competition, it's 66 cents a square foot. Okay. So the value of the property as is right now, if you just raise the rents, is going to be at $281,000. All right. That's the value of the property. So you could see this, you could see the numbers right here. So we tried to get it at 150. She said, no, she said, you'll only sell it at 200,000. So we put it under contract for 200 grand. All right. Because even at 200 grand, it's still a good deal, and then you could add all those units and stuff. Right. So hopefully you guys are seeing my thought process as I go through these deals and look at them. Okay, and you could see that the value of the property is at $281,000 just by raising the rent, and you don't have to raise it to 66 cents. You can just say, okay, look, for everybody, all the people that are there, I'm going to raise your rents by $5 or $10. And then in like 6 months, raise them again another $5 or $10. You don't have to piss everybody off, or you could just raise the rents, is what you could do. to the price that we kind of test that actually. Like sometimes we raise the rents and sometimes we just do it in increments just to see kind of which one works better. It's like 6 one way, half a dozen the other. All right. Okay. All right. So that's that. So you could see that we looked at the info, we did the inputs, we did the expenses, we looked at the unit mix and like what they're charging versus what the competition is charging. All right. And then we just input and like start running the numbers and trying to come up with offers. All right. And in the end, we put it under contract for 200 grand. And also another thing, and I can't show you it here, but you also, with a deal like this, you want to be able to run numbers on like what you could be building. So let's just say you add a 2,000 square foot building like there. It's going to cost you $25,000, right? You would put that into your CapEx. It's probably going to cost a little bit more than that because like the metal frame itself was about $25,000 for a 2,000 square foot building, and then you have to do the concrete, which is coming out to about $10 a square foot right now. So it's going to be a little bit more than that. So I'd say maybe $35,000 all in for a 2,000 building, and then you would just lease that up. And so you'd want to say, okay, how much money am I going to make if I add another 25 units? Right? Because each building will have like 25 doors on it. And then you would run the numbers and add that here as well too. When I do the actual pitch, if I decide to pitch this, I'm going to pitch this probably next Wednesday. I'll be running the numbers. Everything will be up to date on that. So we could see a whole bunch of different variations. But yeah, so you'll be able to add a couple of buildings and raise the rents on this facility. And the property is only it's 200 grand for this thing. All right. Let me see what else. I was going to show you, see what else we have in this folder here so y'all could see it. Property report card is here. So regrid is, we talked about. Property report card is where we get the information from the county, like the county information. Okay. So this is, you can see Madison County, Florida, and then you can pull the records of everything. Okay, so you can see like, what the sales, it's actually the same exact information as Crexy. It's going to be the same information as regrid a lot of the times, but you can compare just to make sure. Okay, we already looked at pictures. We already looked at everything here. So we saw what the facility looks like. Let's see what else can I show you. And another thing too, just so you guys know, is that like all this information that you see here, like this, all this information, we just take it and put it into the executive summary. So they're like, our virtual assistants are gathering all this information. And then once it's done, then they put it into the executive summary. Okay, that's the process. What's the deal analyzer photos? Okay, hang on, let me see. Let's see what he did here. Oh, no, this is just the competition. He just screenshotted everything. Oh, here it is. Okay, so here's the numbers here. This is the real one. So 200,000, 25,000. And notice we rated at a 7 cap. Market cap rate is essentially like what in that area, what do properties typically go for? And so we ran it at a 7 cap, which I think is pretty good. Yeah, everything is about a 7 cap right now, honestly. 25,000, 49 units. So you could see we're taking it from 46 to 60 cents a square foot. The value of the property is at 158. Once you raise the rents, it comes up to over 300 grand. Okay. Here's the expenses. All right. And then here's the utilities and stuff. Okay. And let's see what else. And then here's the unit mix. So this is what it looks like when it's not, what's correct. Okay. So total square footage, the rates, we're at 55 cents a square foot. If we were full, we'd be at 55 cents a square foot, and you should be at 65 cents a square foot, which really means that you could just raise the rents by $10 and you'll be, good to go. Not a lot of people are going to leave when you do that. Okay. I think that's it. We'll update it. And if anybody's interested in this deal, just email me at questions@stacyrossetti.com. And then we're going to update the folder, get everything ready for the pitch. And most likely, if the students don't want it by next Wednesday, we're going to pitch it out to the world as well, too. Okay. I think that's it really for the folder. Just let me know what y'all think about that deal, and put your questions into the chat real fast. James is saying, I'm trying to get my first storage deal. Okay, good. That's what you're here for. I'm here to help you and guide you. Okay. And then Javante says, in this free in your simple course, I really just acquired your course and was curious because I seen the answer before cost me, which was confused. Yeah. So the course does not include the deal analyzer, right? Deal analyzer is separate. The deal analyzer, I'm telling you, our deal analyzer, it costs a ridiculous amount of money to put this thing together. I mean, and time and effort, it's just like, so that's why I charge extra for the deal analyzer. Okay, just so everybody knows, like, it just costs, it's a lot of time and effort to put this thing together. Okay, and then I also try to make it like super simple for everybody. Okay, that's why it's called super simple self-storage. Okay, and then so the course is separate from the deal analyzer. And then you have the free Wednesdays. I call this like the triad. Okay, so if you can come to the free Wednesdays and you can buy the course and you can get the deal analyzer, then you're set. Okay. And Linda said, could this facility be set up to operate remotely? Absolutely. You have to, nobody's going to be living in the area that's going to buy this thing. You know what I'm saying? So, because like, who's living in the middle of like the panhandle of Florida? Nobody, right? So you have to run it remotely. Okay. So that means you need a boots on the ground person and you need a phone person. That's what you need. And that's all on the expenses that I put into the deal. All right, that's how you're going to run a facility like this. A boots on the ground person that can go out on a weekly basis, check the facility, clean up the trash, overlock people, call you up, talk to you, you tell them what you need or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then the phone person is the person that's answering the phones, talking to the tenants, doing auctions if needed, figuring out overlocks, this kind of stuff. Okay. Okay, what else? What phone service do I use? We use Grasshopper right now. We have a lot of phone lines. We have like 26 phone lines or something. So we use Grasshopper for now, but honestly, I just talked to my husband, and Pete, his name is Pete, and he's going to change it to something else. We're looking at a better phone system for us. But in the beginning, Grasshopper worked great. But now that we've got like a lot of facilities and a lot of phone lines, like we're moving on to a different one. Lori is asking, what's overlock? Overlock is like when somebody pays late on their facility, like, rent's due on the 1st. And if you don't pay by the 4th, then your unit is overlocked, as in like, we're putting another lock on it and you can't get your stuff until you pay. Okay. And then, so Mano's asking, I'm starting from scratch. What should you do? You should buy my course. And you should get the deal analyzer, and you should come to the free Wednesday sessions. Okay. And that's really what you should do, honestly. And then your first steps are going to be exactly what I was talking about at the beginning of the session, which is like building your list and then calling and talking to owners. All right. And if you can get the tools, the course and the deal analyzer to help with that, you'll be able to educate yourself and do this on your own. Okay. What else? Okay, good questions here. I'm interested in the self-storage. Would you be willing to sell it? Yeah. So, like I said, we found this facility for our students, and I always offer my deals that I find to my students first. And if somebody doesn't take this facility by this week and say, yes, I'm interested, the next Wednesday, I'll be pitching this facility out and trying to get somebody else to buy it. Okay. And we have to close on this facility. Due diligence, I think, is up at the end of this month. And then we have to close on the facility like in the middle of August, just so everybody knows. But if you're interested, email questions@stacyrossetti.com. And I'll make sure, as soon as I am ready to give access to everybody, I will give you access to the folder so that you could start looking at this. And then we can hop on Zoom and just discuss it or something. Okay. Now, you'll have to give me a fee for the deal. All right, we can work out a fee for finding the deal, but I'm always open to negotiations on any deal, anything that I ever do. Negotiate with me, just practice. Okay, seems like a stupid question to me, but should I finish the course before driving storage because I can't even send out offers anyways, not knowing anything? No, you should driving for storage equals market research. All right, driving for storage makes you aware of what your market looks like. So you should be getting out there and looking. Now we do this thing in our house. This is like started when Lillian was started getting like maybe 3 or 4 years old. You know the game Slug Bug or Bug, like what's it called? Is it Slug Bug where you like hit somebody when you see a slug bug? This is what we do with storage facilities. We're always like storage facility, and they would like smack each other and stuff. All right. So, because it just gets you aware of all the storage facilities out there. And I'm telling you, don't really realize, and how hidden they are or what's around you. Okay. Okay. And how can send you wholesale deals? Okay. Yeah. My email is questions@stacyrossetti.com. All right. You can email me anytime on that one. Let's see. I'm trying to get an SBA loan and building brand new construction self-storage. I'm trying to build 3,000 feet, trying to stay under 150 grand SBA loan and advice. Any advice for me because building a small facility, non-climate control, one storage is perfect. Yeah. So the best thing about building, the most important thing to know about building a storage facility is 2 things. Number one, do not spend a lot of money on the land. All right. The land is going to break your deal. All right. So you're thinking $150,000 to build the storage, but what did you pay for the land? All right. That's the key. And then also because, 3,000 square feet, that's not going to cost you 150 grand. It's not going to do that. I guess maybe if you had to take some trees down and I guess, if you want to maybe put some gravel and stuff, I would just price it out and just see. I would talk to what you really should do if you're going to build is talk to some local builders that do buildings, do storage buildings, and ask them how much it's going to cost. Okay. This is what we do for Storage Nerds is I bring in local builders. We have a couple of people that come in on a yearly basis and they talk about what they do for the process. And they really kind of manage a lot of that. All right. So you could always just talk to some local builders and see what they say too. But the second thing too, is you want to make sure that you get a feasibility study. All right. Feasibility study is a study that tells you whether or not building in that area is a good idea. It's like red, yellow, green. Right? Red is this is not a good space. This is not a good place. Yellow is yeah, you should be okay. Just be cautious. And then green is yes, this is a great spot. And another thing about feasibility studies is that they'll tell you exactly what you should be building. Should you boat and RV parking? Should you do, covered, uncovered? Should you do storage? Should you climate, non-climate? And then what units, 10 by 10s, 10 by 20s, 5 by 10s, what goes in that area? That's the purpose of the feasibility study. And if you are going to get an SBA loan, most likely they're going to ask for this as well, too. Okay. Let's see what else. How do you drive for storage? Yeah. Okay. So I go into this all up in YouTube. All right. If you want to know how to drive for storage, just go to my YouTube channel. There's a ridiculous amount of videos. Or search driving for storage in YouTube. Okay. All right. But you drive for storage and you make a list of the facilities that you find. I get into that quite often. I haven't done a driving for storage in a while, so I'll probably do that soon, but I've done a lot of them. Let's see what else. Any other questions that I missed here? Are they creative finance deals? I do a lot of creative deal structures. I'm super creative on my deals, super creative. I've done assumptions, owner financing. I've done every type of deal you could think of for creative. I just come up with a way to buy the deal. Okay. We just had a 2-day boot camp on creative deal structures for all my students as well. I teach this in the course. Okay. All right. Okay. I appreciate your time. It's a little bit over. I appreciate you guys hanging into the very end. And again, just go to stacyrossetti.com if you have anything, if you need anything. Everything I do is there. Okay. Yeah, I appreciate it. All right. I got another meeting, so I apologize, but I'll take care. I'll talk to you next Wednesday.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Storage Nerds. Hope this informative conversation inspired you to go out there and jump into this highly profitable business venture that people rarely talk about. Get more tips on storage space investing at www.stacyrossetti.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the show and leave a rating. Together, Let's build that thriving passive income one storage space at a time. Until next time.